The Thames, a river that has led, over the centuries, to the growth of our capital, weaving its way through the heart of London, affecting the daily ongoings in the city. But up here, 250,000 miles away from the Earth, a familiar ball of rock is affecting the waters of London's artery. Our satellite, the Moon, has the power to create great tides here on Earth, dragging tons of water by simply passing overhead. And that's exactly what it does to the home of the boat race. From its estuary to 95 miles upstream at Teddington Lock, the Thames River is strongly tidal.
So we are here on the iconic Westminster Bridge in the heart of London, directly over the River Thames. And how do the tides play out with the River Thames in particular?
Well, John, it takes about 5 hours for the tide to flood in from the estuary and about 6 hours to go back out on the ebb, and that happens about twice a day.
And there's a big difference, isn't there, between the high tide and the low tide? We're talking a difference of about 6 to 7 metres.
It is quite large, and from here it takes about half an hour for the tide to reach Putney and about an hour to reach Teddington.
Especially if the traffic's bad. But how is it that the Moon, our natural satellite, can exert these enormous forces on the Earth and create the tides?
Well, John, it's all to do with gravity, you see, and all mass in the universe can exert a gravitational pull, and the larger the mass, the greater the gravitational pull.
Yeah, I suppose we can think about it in that way. The Moon, an Australia-sized ball of rock, orbiting around the Earth, and as it goes around, the force of that orbit will pull some of the oceans out with it as it goes around.
That's absolutely right, yes. And the Moon's pull pulls the oceans towards it a little bit, and the Earth is rotating, so parts of the Earth's surface pass into the bulge and back out again, and this is what we experience as the tides.
It's a good job the Earth has enough gravity of its own to keep the tides on the surface of the planet, otherwise we'd be in a little bit of a pickle.
So the tidal Thames sees water flooding in and out, and depending on the position of the Sun and Moon in relation to the Earth, at some points of the year the tides are particularly high or low. All of this affects the planning of the boat race.
Here we are in Putney, and from here the water comes in from the sea on a flood tide and goes out on an ebb tide. And if you're planning a boat race, you want to know what the tides are doing, because you want to be ploughing all your energy into rowing, not fighting a tide. You really want to be going along with the tide, because it'll give you a little bit of an extra boost.
And this is what's especially impressive about the rowers, the way that they are able to read these terrestrial effects and use them.
Yes, indeed. You know, the river isn't straight, it's got bends and kinks, and that generates currents. If it's been raining, the water levels in the river are high. If it's windy as well, that's also a problem. And so predicting the tides is something of an art form.
So who would have thought the Moon was so influential, so crucial to the course of the boat race?
Indeed, but you know the really sad thing is, though, John, is that we're losing the Moon. You know, about an inch per year it moves further away from us, and as it does so, its gravitational effects on us become less and less.
Yes, the Thames will be just still and flat as a millpot.
Well, that's right. There'll come a time when there is no Moon, but it's not for many, many millions of years. But will there be a human race, and will there be a boat race? But I say we should have a toast to the Moon, sir.
I agree. Maybe one day there'll be the boat race on the Moon.